Hello
Hello, nice to meet you.
again.
Yeah, yes. Let's discuss about I have done present perfect and I did past.
hmm
Yes. Unfortunately, be honest, I fed up with the present perfect. It's crazy tense.
Yeah, once you get into those sort of things in grammar, English becomes more difficult.
I think grammar it's difficult than language. Language you can learn, save vocabularies or expressions and sentences, but the grammar it's difficult.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where like when you're thinking about how to use it and you have to stop and think, then it just makes the conversation you're having with the person and you're pausing to think, then it ruins the flow of the conversation.
Uh, it's difficult to deal with the grammar sometimes because it's so many rules in grammars and how to use it, when to
hmm
use it with the verbs, with the regular verbs and irregular verbs. Okay, let's. I use this book.
Essential grammar and use. All right.
It's a great books from Cambridge. Is
hmm
there Cambridge University in the USA or just in the UK?
Just in the UK.
Oh, okay. But I think there's American Oxford University.
I I f- no, I feel like that's British too. We have
Mm.
we have different
You
universities. We have like Yale.
Yale and Harvard
Mhm.
and Columbia University and so
Mhm.
many. But the Harvard University is it's old university in the
Mhm.
USA, and it's very popular. If you graduate from the Harvard University, that's mean to be a very famous person.
Yeah. So like
Mm.
the big, very expensive, very fancy schools like um Harvard, Yale, Juilliard, uh Columbia, we call the term for those that we use here are called Ivy League schools. I don't know where that came from, but that's the term. Like those big fancy ones, we call them Ivy League.
It's difficult. It cost if you want to study in the Harvard University, that's mean cost me an legs.
An arm and a leg.
Yes, we with the finish time yesterday, last week, etc. We
hmm
use the past, arrive, saw. There's regular and irregular verbs with each tense, and present perfect between the past and the present.
All right, but first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apologize about irregular verbs. There really is no other way of getting around those. You just have to memorize them. That's all there is. There's no trick to it. I apologize. That's just the way English
Uh,
is.
Okay, there's this irregular verbs in this books, but I want to discuss about the present perfect and
hmm
past. How to use it? Can you explain something about the present perfect?
So the present perfect tense, it's used.
But be quickly because time up with my start my work. I want to change my clothes and go to my work. Walk. Maybe I
All
will go my work to run. I will running to my work today.
All right, so the present perfect tense, that one is used to
Mm.
describe actions that began in the past but are
Mm.
continuing
For
now.
example, I had a breakfast
hmm
today because
Yeah.
I eat my breakfast. Yes, something to happen, and the result it's still right now.
Well, yeah, yeah,
For
because you
example,
you
I
had your
talked to
breakfast.
you.
You had
I
your
had
breakfast in the past, but you're over
a
with your
bath.
breakfast. It's not continuing to the present.
Yes.
For example, you
For
could say,
example, I had a lesson with you before, you can say before 20 minutes ago.
yeah, so you could say, um, I have been having a lesson with you since 20 minutes ago.
Hmm. Okay. We don't use the present perfect. Have arrived, have done, have been. Why?
Great question.
Hmm.
I feel like it's just I honestly don't know. I feel like that's just one of the rules where that's just how it works. That's how we decided to speak, so we made a grammar rule to go along with it. Some things in grammar cannot be explained. The only reason for them is because that's how people had been saying it, so they decided to make it a rule.
Hmm. Uh, with the finished time, I saw Paulo yesterday. Or where were you on Sunday afternoon? Or we didn't have holiday last year. Or what did you do on last night? Present. If you want to compare between the present perfect and past, for example, I lost my keys, my key. I
Mhm.
lost my key last week. There's a what we can this last week. It's it's adverb last week.
Okay, so an adverb is a verb that has been modified. Last week's not an adverb. Adverb is when you modify a verb. For example, we could have the verb clean, and then to make it an adverb, we would say um, cleanly. It's when you
Oh.
modify the verb. That's an
Oh,
adverb.
that's. I'm sorry. I remember that. I will read this in this book, essential book. Adverb always to ending with ly.
Hmm.
Sorry. Uh, what is the what is the difference between the present perfect and past?
Between present perfect and past
Yes.
perfect. Let's.
No.
I'm
No. Between the present perfect and past. Just only past.
and past tense
Let
then.
me explain that. Let me explain that if I to be wrong or right. Present perfect, that's something it's happened in the past with the result right now.
Hmm.
But the past, it's something it's happening in the past without result right now.
Yes.
It's good to ask and answer myself.
It is. Half the time you come
Uh,
up with your own answers.
okay, we use the past to ask when, what time, when did you buy your computer? Okay, let's discuss about the language.
Okay.
Grammar, it's difficult to for the native speaker or for the learning. How can I improve my English language? Is there a specific way, a fast way? How can uh,
Is there any, do you have access to other people who are learning English as well? Like as a study group or a conversation group, just like with lots of you? Because when you do that, you're bringing in lots of different vocabulary because everyone's learning it from somewhere, and you guys can help each other too in person. That's a very good way of doing it rather than, just 10-minute sessions. Like if you have like a time where a group meets for like an hour or so every week.
the first tutor on complete through the truth tell the truth uh, uh, do you have